Race 4 on the program is the first leg of the first jackpot. It's off at 14.20. It's a graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. 8 runners carded to go to the post. Before we analyse the race, let's join the GTV interview package. We chatted to Gareth Van Sale, Mark Dixon and Peter Muscat.
Well, Purple Persuasion, as you say, did make very good improvement into her second start for the stable. She won a very competitive 1,400 metre fillies handicap. I do feel third up on Sunday. She should be her peak run. Once again, she's ideally drawn. It's an awkward race at the handicap, being a graduation fillies, and she's not all that well treated by the weights, but her work's good enough for her to be competitive on Sunday.
Yeah, she's a filly who can run on her day, Warren. She's not the best weighted in this race. However, she can run into the money. She also will improve from the start though.
Yeah, Jackson Wells. She's doing very well. I still feel that she's better on the grass, but this race came along. Her last one was an excellent effort. This race came along and it's cut up quite badly. She's got a decent draw. Worked very well also on Tuesday. Ashton's happy with her, so am I, and obviously competitive. There's a couple of horses she can't beat there on paper, but I think she'll be very competitive. I really do. She's very well in herself.
There we heard from Gareth Van Sale, Mark Dixon and Peter Muscat. This is, Warren, a very interesting graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. And I say that because obviously in these plate races, the best weighted column is your clear guide. And on that basis, it should be an absolute choice race between Mary O and Jack's Bird. Let's not forget that Mary O ran Mississippi Burning to a short head in the KZN Fillies Guinea, sponsored by World Sports, betting just 3 runs back. But
interesting, sorry to interrupt you, interesting that in the best weighted column, you're quite right, 7 and 8, 8 and 7, and neither of them form part of my first 4 selections. So.
Well, and you may not be wrong on this occasion. We've had our handicapping discussions before, but I know that Mary O has been on a spelling farm after 2 indifferent runs, one would have to say, albeit in the highest class in the Willavington and the Garden Province. So she was outclassed there, let's accept that. She's been on a spelling farm, and she's having her first run back, her seasonal debut as a 4-year-old. So she may not be ready to run to that sort of rating that she put up when finishing second to Mississippi Burning in the World Sports Betting Fillies Guineas. That being said, she was priced up 5-1 in the early market, and there's already been a bit of a rush for her. She has shortened into 5-2. She's now the outright favourite for this race, so there's been an early betting move for her from the anti-post market watchers, and I know there are a few of them out there, whether they just saw the value or whether they're absolutely convinced that Mary O is ready to do her best, that only time will tell. We'll have to continue to monitor the betting market. Jack's Bird is obviously very well weighted here, given the conditions of the race, Warren. Ran an indifferent race behind Purple Persuasion, who she meets here again last time out, and interestingly, she is now 10 kilograms better off with number 2 Purple Persuasion. So certainly on any kind of form, one would expect Jack's Bird to beat Purple Persuasion, but Purple Persuasion is improving. She may be better than her rating. Dancing Feather is game and consistent, and then you've got, of course, the likes of Jackson Wells and Real and Electric Surge. All of these fillies have the ability to run into the money in a smallish field. But you've gone with Purple Persuasion. You need to tell me why.
I was very impressed with her last run, Graham. She won full of running. She beat Marsanne. Marsanne's since come out and won, so that form's been franked a little bit.
But she carried like 50 and a half or 51 on that occasion.
Correct,
She's now got obviously 60 less than 2.5. And as I said to you, she's 10 kilograms worse off with Jack's Bird for 6 legs, which may, obviously Jack's Bird put in an indifferent run. So I'm going to challenge you and say that wherever Purple Persuasion run, Jack's Bird's got to beat her. Sure.
Well, that's what it's all about, debate and difference of opinion, and that's great. I'll take you on with a challenge. Also, what put me off with Jack's Bird is 515 days since she's last won. She's a one-time winner. She's just, for me, taking time to win her second race.
I agree with you. As I introduced this race by saying that, albeit that this is a graduation plate and the best weighted column is the best guide, there are certain question marks about both Jack's Bird and Mary O as to their complete dominance. Are they going to run to their best ratings.
It's a tough race, as you said, also at the top of the race. It's a graduation, it's hard. You can make a case for quite a couple of them. So very, very difficult. Dancing Feather, as you also said earlier on, another filly that hasn't won for a long time, but she's got to have a chance. But we can't spend any more time dissecting this race. You've gone 7, 8, 3 and 2. I've gone 6, 2, 3, 1. And let's hope one of us are at least right.